Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today. Let's start with the folks over at Lamborghini. Actually, over the past several days, the head of Lamborghini, Stefano Domenicali, actually came out and said they're going to market to people they've never marketed before, and that's all thanks to this brand new Urus SUV that's going to be coming out over the next couple of years. The people they're going to market to is actually the ladies and also families. Now, it sounds a little bit strange, but remember back in the old Porsche days when they first came out with the Cayenne, then later on the Panamera, we haven't heard the big outcry from the folks over at Lamborghini, especially the lovers of Lamborghini, who actually are crying out that this is sacrilegious in any way, shape, or form, much like you did hear from the Porsche faithful. That being said, just thanks to the Cayenne and also the Panamera, sales are up significantly. In fact, those two vehicles actually probably sell more than all the other groups put together as far as into the Porsche umbrella. And that means that a lot of money goes into the coffer for the cars that you and I, the big enthusiasts, all really care about. Back to the Lamborghini Urus, this actual marketing to ladies, which sounds a little bit strange. Not to saying that ladies don't buy Lamborghinis to begin with. They absolutely do. But actually marketing to families as well. You think it'd be kind of weird if someone came up to you and said, "Hey, heard you got a new car for the family. What'd you get?" "Yeah, we got a Lamborghini." Yeah, that sounds a little strange. Maybe in the next several years, it won't sound strange at all. The crosstown rivals for folks over at Lamborghini are the Ferrari group. Ferrari actually is selling off a special edition, the last edition of the LaFerrari. Now, they built 499 units, and much like they did with the Enzo, they actually built a final version of that machine that actually was given to Pope John Paul II. This 500th version of the LaFerrari is actually going to go up for auction, and all the monies are going to be going to a very worthwhile situation. That being the terrible, terrible earthquake that have ravaged the Italian country itself. You may remember about a week and a half ago, at least for the taping of this program, when Italy was rocked by a massive earthquake. Killed several folks, also injured several more, and the folks over at Ferrari really want to pitch in to help out with the relief effort, and they're going to sell this last LaFerrari at auction with all of those monies going to the people who needs it most, and hopefully that money will get to right those people, no doubt. All of us here at Motor Cars actually give a big thumbs up to Ferrari for stepping up to the plate and helping out with this cause. It's a very needed situation for the earthquake relief victims. Next up on the list, let's talk about these two chaps. These two chaps who were fighting in anger. I guess that's a little bit weird to say, but I mean, they were actually at the Autodrome Nazionale Monza, the actual Italian Grand Prix Formula One weekend in Monza. These two chaps made announcements they will be leaving the sport at year's end. The one closest to me is 35-year-old Brazilian-born driver Felipe Massa. Mr. Massa has several fantastic years in Formula One, including a beautiful little stint with a Ferrari, where he actually won several races and actually won the World Championship in 2008, albeit for only about 15 seconds, when a guy who was coming up behind him after that being Massa, winning the Brazilian Grand Prix and clinching the championship for himself and Ferrari, was actually followed up by rookie Lewis Hamilton, who actually passed one more driver on the last corner of the last lap to become world championship and nicking Mr. Moss at the line. So he could have been 2008 world champion, no doubt. Now, Moss has had a beautiful career. He's also had some tough times as well. You may remember back at the Hungarian Grand Prix, it was actually, I think in practice, might have been in qualifying, when fellow Brazilian-born driver, that being Rubens Barrichello, actually lost a spring out of his automobile and was bouncing down the track. Poor Mr. Moss slammed right into this thing, the spring actually going through the visor of the helmet and striking him right into the face. Mr. Moss was very lucky to not die from those injuries because it was a horrific incident indeed, but did come back to have a very, very successful career. Not for 100% sure what Mr. Moss may have up his sleeve as far as what he could be doing on the future, possibly sports car racing. We'll have to wait and see on that front. The guy on the other side of this coin is Jenson Button, the 38-year-old British-born driver who has had a very illustrious Formula One career, including the 2009 Formula One World Champion in the sport. And I'll never, ever forget that Hungarian Grand Prix when he was racing for Honda where he got his first ever Formula One win. That was a huge deal indeed. Mr. Button's taking somewhat of a different situation. Maybe taking a page out of former Formula One world champion and also former McLaren driver Mika Hakkinen. The Finnish-born driver actually took a sabbatical from the sport to actually let in now Formula One world champion, at least in 2007, Kimi Räikkönen into the McLaren fold. Much the same is done with Mr. Button, with Mr. Button is actually stepping aside for Belgian driver Stoffel Vandoorne, who's actually going to come into his race seat next year. Mr. Button does have a contract through 2017 with an extension to 2018. Nothing to stay if Mr. Vandoorne actually doesn't get the job done. They may plug Button back into the car. Obviously, if one of the McLaren drivers gets hurt, he is at the ready. Also, the fellow teammate, oddly enough, this Stoffel Vandoorne is actually one of the most well-touted Formula One drivers coming up through the system since Lewis Hamilton, what a lot of people are pointing towards this guy having as much, if not more talent than Mr. Hamilton did when he came up into the sport. Oddly enough, when Hamilton first came to McLaren, or at least his first foray in Formula One, he was teammates with then Fernando Alonso, much like Mr. Vandoorne, who will be Fernando Alonso's teammate at McLaren. Kind of weird that way. Also, the trick is Fernando Alonso's actually put out a lot of stuff that if the performance doesn't up in the next year, at least the year of 2017, that he will be out at season's end in 2017, maybe looking for a new ride or for retirement as well, which may mean Mr. Button could slip right back into the McLaren seat. A lot of unanswered questions, and also these two took a lot away from a very fantastic Italian Grand Prix that took place actually the morning of the taping of this particular program. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.